What is going on, YouTube? I got 4 PS5 controllers that we're going to try to fix. First, let's figure out what's wrong with each one of them, and then we're going to dive in and see if we could resolve the issue. So the first step is to figure out what's going on with these controllers, and by doing that we're going to plug it into our gamepad tester and see if we could find the issue. So first, let's start with this one. And so as we can see in this one, we have a very heavy drift to the left. So let's mark this one as controller number 1. And we're going to remember that number 1 has a drift. Let's go to the next one. So this one, it looks like this down pad is not working. So up is working, left working, right. The down pad is not working. So let's mark this one as number 2. And let's remember that the number 2, the down pad is not working. So moving right along, we'll go to the next one. Joystick seems to be working. So this one we can see right away that the R2 is not working and the R1 is not working. So number 3, we have R1 and R2 is not working. And the last one, and this one doesn't seem to connect. It looks, it doesn't power on. So this has some kind of a connection issue. So we'll mark this one as number 4. And we'll check out what's going on this one. And also on this one, it looks like the thumb pads are moving out. So we might want to replace those as well. Okay, so let's start with number 1. So to fix the drift, we're going to open the controller up and access the motherboard. That's going to look like this. And we're going to change one of these potentiometers. So since the drift is the left one, so we are going to change this potentiometer on this side, because you see when this is left, right, this controls left and right, and this controls up and down. So we're going to change that sucker, and I have a spare. So I'm going to use this wiper from here, and we're going to replace it here. And I also made a video on how to fully fix this drift. So if you're interested in that, you could just click on top or wait until the end of the video, and you could see that video on how I fully change the drift. So we're just going to open this up. Now these controllers are a little bit older, so it looks like they're pretty dirty. And then these 2 little locks, we kind of open them up, and now we could peel the controller off, remove the battery, remove this casing, and we'll take out these ribbon cables, 1 and 2. And we want to get this board opened up. So we're doing this one. So this is what we're changing. And again, that's controlling this potentiometer. So we want to open this up. Nice and careful. And we want to open this up. We want to clean the inside of this resistant track. Could be dirty, so it's not making a connection. So we're going to change the wiper, and we're also going to just go ahead and spray some alcohol in there and just clean that up. You can see all the dirt there. Make sure we remove any of the hairs. Okay, looks okay. Okay, now let's give it a test to see if that worked. Okay, and it looks like this joystick is good now. It's right in the center. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. All right, let's continue, folks. We have controller number 2. So controller number 2, the down pad was not working. So let's open this up and see if we can get this fixed. Generally speaking, if your keypad buttons are not working or the triangle, circle, X, square buttons are not working, there's usually the main problem for that. And let me show you. Once we open this controller up, we gotta take this part out, and there's a ribbon cable that controls all of these pads, and it could be that there's a connection that's loose or it needs a replacement. So let's open it up more. So we have this connection here from the ribbon cable, and this connection here, it goes and connects to the motherboard here. So this ribbon cable connects all of these pad buttons, the triangle, square, circle, X, and the up, left, right, down pad. So we might want to clean this here a little if the connection is bad. But if we open this up more, and this is the skeleton of the controller. And now we see this connection pad. So it controls all of these buttons. So since I have another spare one, because good thing that I have a lot of spare parts, I fix controllers, modify them, so I have spare parts. And if you don't have these spare parts, I'm going to leave a description on the bottom. I'm going to try to find all the Amazon parts that I've been using in this video and link it below. So if you have a repair at home, you could get those parts necessary. So what we're going to do on this one is, this may be bad or the connection is bad. Since I have a spare one, I'm just going to transfer it on here, and we're going to give it a test to see if that's going to solve the problem. So it's pretty easy fix here. We just have to take this off carefully, and this is the bottom part where it connects. Okay, so that's our controller there, and we're going to use this blue one, which I think they are the same. There's not much difference here between the blue and the green. Okay, so we have to be very precise here to fit necessary. Everything has to fit perfect, otherwise the connection is not going to be good, and we're going to have to take it apart again, which we don't want to do. So this one, okay, there we got it. So this looks good. Now we just have to make sure that this ribbon cable I forgot to remove, it's in the way. Just need to be more careful than I am, but I've been opening these up a lot, so I'm a little bit familiar with what I'm doing, even though it doesn't look like it. Okay, so we have this connection fitted in here. This is good. So now we could start assembling it back together. And yeah, it's pretty disgusting here. Since I have this open, we'll just do a little bit cleaning. These are a little bit older controllers, so. And I'm using a BW100. It's an electronic contact cleaner. Pick it up on Amazon for a few bucks. It's very helpful. You want to be safe when working with electronics, so you want to use equipment that's safe for all the circuits and everything. So now let's give it a test and see if this works. And all the keypads now work. So number 2 is a fix. Let's move on to number 3. So for the third controller, the R1 and R2 triggers were not working. So let's open it up as usual and see what we can do to get this problem fixed. So if you have a problem with one of the triggers, most likely it's the ribbon cable or the connection. As these triggers and the unit is connected to this ribbon cable, and this ribbon cable is connected to the motherboard, which controls the buttons. So what we're going to do is we're going to check, since we know that this is the right rumble trigger, we're going to check those connections, and just to make sure that this ribbon cable is properly connected and there's nothing is loose. Because from experience, a lot of the times it's just that the ribbon cable is not put in well. So as you can see, this ribbon cable is a little bit ripped. So I think this was the problem. And one takeaway from here is that, as you can see, these controllers that I'm fixing right now, they're all BDM010. You could see on the motherboard here, it states the name of this controller. There's 2 generations of controllers, the 010 and BDM020. When the PS5 was first released, the first generation controllers were released. About a year later, the second generation controllers were released, and those are the BDM020. Now, a good way to find out if you're buying a controller in the second market, which one is the first and the second generation, is if you look in the back of the controller, there's a little A. If you see this little A, this is the second generation controller. And also on this serial number, if it ends with an A, this is a second generation. If it doesn't have an A, then you know that this is a BDM010, and that's the first generation. As you can see, I have 2 ribbon cables here that are from the second generation, and looking at the quality, you could tell that these ribbon cables from the second generation are much more durable. So that's something to take note, and I'm going to replace this ribbon cable with a newer ribbon cable, and I think this should fix the issue. Now that we have our battery intact, let's give it a test. So the R1 trigger works. Let's see it. In the R1 and the R2. So this was the root of the problem. So it looks like this one is fixed, and let's move on to the next one. So while we were working on the other controllers, I had this controller charging to see if the battery might be dead, but it seems like the battery did not charge. So let's open this one up and try to see what the problem is. It could either be bad battery or there could be a bad connection. So we're going to replace it with a different battery from another controller and see if that does the trick. Okay, and it looks like it's turning on. It's not holding charge. Maybe this battery is dead, but it looks like the battery was the issue. So these thumbsticks are very worn out. So we're just gonna go ahead and replace those really quick. we got new ones. That's it, folks. 4 controllers. We got them all fixed. I encourage you to fix your controller if you have any issues. As you saw in the videos, they're not that hard to fix, and we covered over the main problems such as drift, keypad not working, or the stick drifts not working. Thank you guys for watching. If you're liking this kind of content, make sure you guys subscribe to help this channel grow. I appreciate it. Take care and see you next time.